Hello, and welcome to Thingness.
This podcast is one part of our domestic microgallery. In each of these episodes, we sit down with our current exhibitor and talk about objects, things, and collecting in relation to exhibiting outside of white cube norms. Yes, we are Hannah
And Martin, and today we are joined by Karl and Mio.
Yes.
Yeah, Karl,
Yes, little Mio.
Karl Bergström, who is an artist and also Hannah's oldest Gothenburgian friend.
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm born and raised in Gothenburg. I went to preparatory art school and then I went to... What's the name of the school again? It's
Valand.
but it's changed its name.
HDK
Valand and then Academy Valand. And anyway, it's the art school here.
And that was where
I went.
we met.
Yep, and I also studied philosophy.
Yeah, you did a bachelor's in philosophy.
Yeah,
Didn't you?
two
Yeah.
bachelor's degrees even.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You did a lot of
wrote
studying.
You're just collecting.
I wrote two C essays, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
C-uppsatser. Yeah,
Amazing.
cool.
And but then with your art practice,
Exactly.
there's a lot of philosophy that comes into that.
I guess, but the philosophy tradition here is a lot of like right or wrong, no, not right or wrong, but logic and language.
Yes.
And being
And meaning.
and talking correctly or something.
Yeah.
Don't quote me, or quote me if you will. But yeah, art practice. I am a painter. I paint a lot.
Big things.
Big things. Oil painting, and in my painting practice, I do a lot of chants and big movements, and not thinking beforehand, but thinking afterwards maybe. A lot of garish. Gary, he's walking away from us now, but
All right, backtracking a little. Baby here. So this episode is going to have a few pauses.
yes.
So
Big
we were
bumps.
talking about your painting. You remember
Yeah,
something
I
you did.
remember you'd made this like tent-like structure from bin bags that you had like some sort of fan
Oh,
that
yeah.
inflated it.
Inflatable plastic
And you
sculptures.
painted on the inside and you could enter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Did
was...
I paint on the inside?
It was like a tunnel thing.
Yeah, tunnel thing with see-through windows, so you can see out into the gallery. Yeah. I've been doing a couple of those too. Most recently, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
with the Gothenburg modern dancing
Yes,
crew
exactly.
at Chalmers AHA Science Festival.
I'm talking about collaborations. We've done some collaborative things together.
Yes.
Some different paintings and stuff.
And we have this kind of ongoing drawing WhatsApp thread.
Yes, where we send each other digital images to
Yeah.
work on.
And once upon a time, not too long ago, you ran a gallery together.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
We've done lots of things together.
We've done all the kind of art school things you do. You put your training into practice, right?
Yeah.
Curating, drawing, speaking to people.
And now doing a podcast.
Yes.
All right, next question. We always ask our guests. Exactly, Mio. We ask our guests if they could describe their relationships to things, objects, and collecting.
Yeah. You asking me this just before we started recording, I immediately thought of I don't really like collecting because I think that's a part of me is like I don't want to do the boring stuff. I just want good things to come to me without me having to do bookkeeping, taxes. Okay, you know what I mean, not the boring stuff. So collecting for me is part being boring. I don't like it. I don't like to organize stuff.
And also like the things end up owning you.
What, they do end up owning me, or they don't? If I don't
they
sort
might.
them. They might. If I don't sort them, they own me.
Yeah, or...
No, but I have a pile, the master pile, where everything is in.
Yeah.
So no, but I did have a collection of stones, nature stones, when I was a kid. And then at one point I thought I've grown out of this, so I just threw them away.
Really?
Yeah, and I really feel bad about that now.
Like threw them in the trash or
No,
threw
threw
them
them out
outside?
in nature, back to nature.
Oh, but that's good at least.
And then I have...
Well, someone else can find them. You know?
Somebody else might find them.
But you don't have any collections right now?
Well, I do have this collection pertaining to this work I did here, Thingness.
Yeah.
It's where I try to re-evaluate and like up-value all the little doodles I do at my, air quotes for the podcast listeners, boring day job. Where I like...
Great job.
What I do like on post-its and on scraps of paper as I work at a high school. And so I, instead of, crumbling them up and throwing them away at the end of the meeting, I put them in a binder.
You have this beautiful binder which you brought today and showed us, and it was like on each A4 white page you had there's 8 post-it notes laid out like a grid. How many and these are things that you said that you do it in the meetings with other people at work.
So it started out as just saving to try to re-evaluate my drawings and my time basically, because throwing them away felt bad because I had invested 40 minutes. And then as it turned out, I started incorporating what I did at work in this binder too. So parts of books I want to read, or comments about books, and then comments about students, and then progression of student learning, and then what to do next with the students, and then this memory palace thing where I got to had to take care of students. I'm a student assistant, which means those who have disabilities basically.
Special needs.
Who can't, cope with the pace of normal high school learning.
Little extra support.
Exactly. And this is a student who basically can't read well. So all the information in the books are well hidden for the student. So what I did was I had heard about this memory palace thing, and
which you'd also been researching in your art.
Which I have.
Or maybe not research, but I remember that you were interested in it.
That's right, because I have made one spontaneously as a kid.
Oh, you did?
So when I heard about memory palace, I was like, this is the thing I have. This is the thing I have. And I had just catalogued like feelings and friends and cartoons.
Did you still have this?
I still have it.
You still had the one you made as a kid? Wow.
But it has some unhealthy properties to it, because it has a cannon that I can shoot out thoughts and feelings I don't want to feel. So I've been like, that's not a very good thing. Maybe I should instead feel through these feelings and just don't ignore them.
Wow.
But yeah, so I have this thing, and then when I heard this podcast, it's called Mindscape.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember I listened to it. We'll put it in the bibliography.
Put it in the bibliography.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's this wonderful scholar, Leanne Kelly, who has made memory palaces and the way to in a way to speak about information storage technology in the hunter-gatherer societies, and tying that together with Stonehenge and the Easter Island and a lot of stuff that we in Western science call rock painting or ceremonial object 1. Ceremonial object 2. So these are actually like handheld memory devices that you use to visualize information along a path or in a song, and then when you revisit that place, your memory is strengthened.
So in a way, we were saying, explain your relationship to collecting. In a way, what's interesting about these memory palaces is that they are a form of collecting information.
Yeah.
Which I think is not something we've maybe explored so much in the podcast. Well, maybe a little bit with Ricky when we were talking about the way that he had these objects in the shelf that were like to reflect upon memories. So in a way he denoted the memory
talked
to
about
an object.
Totems before.
Totems, yeah. But I think this more kind of ancient technique of using something to collect information that then is passed on and then can be used by someone else once you've explained it to them is not something we've. So it's nice in a way to have this. We've been thinking about collecting and things, but now this is more like collecting with objects and how then the information. No, collecting with information.
Hey, Leo.
I know, and how the information can be attached to objects.
Yeah, or like encoded within objects, or encoded. Yeah,
So a lot of these objects are like from cultures that didn't really have an established like written
yes.
system. So
Some have both.
it's like so these like memory palace objects are then like oral tradition support. I
Oral
suppose.
tradition support, and one way of ending up with this kind of thing, as Kelly, I'm quoting Kelly here, is that you're a hunter-gathering society who is settling down to become an agriculture. And over then thousands of years or hundreds of years, you need to take all these, you walk to the lake to fish, and on the way to the fishing lake, you remember what your dad told you about the fish and how, all the things you need to know.
Like the best place to get it,
Yeah,
the
the
right
best-
time of day.
Yes, and everything, whatever. And it's encoded on the way to the place where you get it. But as in an agriculture society, you get everything from the same place, so you don't walk very long, and you don't even switch during the seasons. You stay put also.
Oh, I didn't realize it was also so much about like the walk. I think because I've heard a lot about these memory palace and encoding things. There was someone who was doing a PhD in Bergen when we were there, and he had an exhibition about it. I've forgotten his name, but I'll put his name in the bibliography as well. And he was looking at when they would use seeds.
Yes.
To create these what they called anyway, the things that they stick seeds to, and it basically becomes a memory palace, kind of like the thing that you've got in so I knew about that.
Yeah, and this is when you need to take these walks to different hunting grounds and you can't have them be a return trip, to and return. You need to make them into a circle. So then you make a Stonehenge circle, or a Alestenar circle, or a ditch, within you walk, and then you go up. Or there's a lot of configuration, or mounds. There are basically a lot of ways you can do this, and it works very well. And because I think it clings to something in our constitution of our minds, our brains has this ability to remember good if you walk and visualize stuff. So it's part imaginary, part visual on the walk.
Part muscle memory.
Part muscle memory, part singing, part, it evokes a lot of strength in your memory in this way. So I worked a lot with, because books and reading, Aristotle, let's talk about him. He said nothing, he didn't want things on paper. He thought that writing stuff down, or was it Socrates? I don't know, the older guy. The old guy, he said that he did. I think he used a lot of memory palaces. Actually, he didn't want stuff written down. He thought text dulled the mind.
Yeah.
So now,
or like if you have some external place to put thoughts, then you don't internalize them, and then it's like letting them go.
Yeah, exactly. Letting them go is you forget what's in the book because it's always there. All you need to do is remember.
Yeah.
And so books they use phonemes and sound. They encode sound basically, but memory palaces encodes images. So they are spatial and 3D, and they have all these other attributes to them. So, but we live in this text culture, right? Where everything is a string. So you start reading at the beginning of the book, and then you read down to the end, and during that time you've read along a string. You can't read the text backwards, but you can't read it upside down. But anyway, so I have a thing. I think that information, depending on how it's encoded, needs to have different properties. So the same information encoding stuff about LNK in a memory palace is different than encoding it in a book. And I don't know anything more about this, but that's my hunch.
And how is this represented in your
Yes.
Thingness exhibition?
Yes. So sourcing material for this exhibition, it's both from when I had a drawing party at home, and you guys were there.
Yeah.
And then I cut out the drawings.
What did we call it again? Something about we need more orange. What was it?
Did we call it that?
It had a name about something with orange, and it was kind of ironic because everything was pink.
Yeah, I remember that. I had just bought this acetone color.
Yes.
Super
Beautiful
pungent.
pink. Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
So it's partly sourced from there, partially sourced from my binder of memory palace and writing doodles at work.
From school. Yeah.
and part from. Let me tell you about an object I don't think you know. This I think what sandalwood, right? What's it called?
The one that you
the burn.
I think sometimes it can be sandalwood, but sometimes it's also got a different name. The one that you burn, it has a nice smell.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this, it's some like
Palo
wire.
Santo.
Yeah, Palo Santo. And it has some copper wiring wrapped around it.
Yeah.
And that copper wiring is from an old Volkswagen Beetle I found in the wood, abandoned, like old moss-covered. So I made this weird, and a coil of copper wire is also like a capacitor. No, you know what I mean. It's a transformer.
Yeah.
So this is like a spirit transformer of sandalwood and copper, and like that's my little. I use it as my little meditation thing. And there's a stone representing. I bought this as a kid. It can represent my stone collection. I think it's fool's gold.
Yeah, we were talking about it being fool's gold.
And it's a part of a small trash container from a toy set, from a set of cars. It says altpapier, so it's like waste paper. And of course, I have this handheld memory palace thing tucked in there as well.
Yeah.
Because I built this handheld device for me and the student to take the walk when it was rainy. We don't want to go outside, so we could take the walk inside, following along with the finger along the trail of the woodblock.
So, like for instance, the toothbrush bit, you said like the bristles were to represent like the trees.
Yeah. Yeah, you can encode it however you want, but we encoded the bristles like the trees and the green shaft like it has become. We have encoded all the diskrimineringsgrunderna in English. It's like discriminatory grounds for discrimination. So it's a social sciences subject, and that handle there represents age, because that's a discrimination ground. You can't be discriminated.
And there was one bit that was some red beads, and that was meant to look like a crab.
Yeah, like the socialist crab who represent the welfare state, and he has some action he takes. He gives out money, he redistributes wealth, he accepts money from people throwing it in, so he collects taxes. He pushes together children and work benches, pushes them together so that they can get education. And he also catches people, he spins a web and he catches people in his social web of social security.
And he pinches you a little bit.
And he pinches you, and he has a big hammer and sickle on his chest, so he can be remembered as being something like left-leaning. And he's red, of course. He's a boiled crab already.
Oh, okay. All right. What else have we got here then? Then we've got some of the pink post-it notes.
Yes.
That you've done, and these kind of doodles. I mean, talking then about. I kind of hate the word doodles also because for me
these are more like proper drawings. Actually.
I think I just associate the word doodles with it's something that you're doing when maybe you're listening to something else. But in a way, for me, I associate as a drawer. I also kind of hate that it's a doodle. Like, can't it just be a real drawing? Anyway, going off on a tangent.
Starting out as doodles, I would say.
And you would see them like that.
And then me re-evaluating them to keeping them and storing them.
But what I was going to ask is that in a way, because they're being drawn in a moment where maybe information is being passed, do you remember like the meetings
yes,
that these
I do.
were from?
I do, but these were not drawn during the meetings. They were just drawn because I found this cool way to draw. So I remember finding having a pink post-it with a red pen and then scribbling over the red pen with some graphite.
Okay.
So that's what I remember from these.
Yeah.
But I had some from meetings that I remember the content of the meeting.
So in a way, those also become, like the post-it notes become like a memory palace.
They do. They become a memory aid.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's also good to see that you haven't lost your marbles.
Yeah, I have 2 marbles there.
You love pulling out that joke, Martin.
Well, Karl showed us...
What is dead can never die.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you also just showed us your binder, and there's like some of them like these like compound collage bits, and then like purely like pun-based.
Oh, yeah.
So like...
To compound ideas, to put them in the memory palace, you need to have visual imaginary aids that makes you think of the word how it sounds. So like, renpresent, represent, representative democracy. Yeah, and then I thought it out by myself, and I was so happy with all of them. And then I tried it on the student, and the student didn't respond well at all. So, but that's also then written down in my binder. It says didn't work or failed to evolve.
And you were saying that
stupid students.
In a way, it's like because you made it, you can remember it. But in a way, the person who needs to remember it needs to come up with it themselves
somehow, or just listen better to me, and just if I was like a high priest of remembrance, I would of course have this like student who come to me, and I would have made them wait for 3 days and be really interested in being there. But these students are not really interested in learning.
No, and that's the other problem.
But this is the very thing with memory palaces, no? You have the collective knowledge, but the space is a personal space.
It's personal, but it is, as far as I've read in these books I've read, it's very important that the elders control what images and what things you memorize. Because if it's a goldfish representing gold sounding like old, and then you make it a silverfish, then you don't have the connection to old anymore, and then it's like the Chinese whispers.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the exact right things, you lose information. Mio is tried, and he's trying to sleep, and I think he's gonna sleep.
Sleepy Mio.
Sleepy Mio.
Imagine that we've sent our podcast is so boring that we've sent him to sleep.
We had an ASMR baby bottle feeding podcast.
Yes, that is exactly what's happened here. So with this like iteration of objects here in a way, I kind of wonder firstly what me and Martin will start to attach to these while it lives in our apartment. You know, are we going to start connecting thoughts or ideas to it?
Yeah, I mean...
Now that we know some of what you know, like...
The little plastic gorilla figurine will symbolize me getting up in the morning.
Being grumpy until you get your coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, there was also this little acorn.
Yeah. I think it's from somewhere, and I think about our friend Richard when I see it, because
Do you?
he had a couple of like little fancy, leftover bits from some fancy wooden stuff laying around when we ran the gallery, I think.
Yeah.
He had a place where you keep the holy water and wine, right? The whole cupboard. Fancy cupboard for reliquaries. Anyways, bringing stuff home from the if you bought it at a gallery or if you made it at your own studio, bringing it home for me, living with them, years later I can see something new, right?
Yeah.
And I know you, Martin, you do a lot of
especially
tiny like things, and they are so full of stuff. Your collages.
Yeah, and especially with the collages when the quote unquote paint contains so many things that you don't have control over.
Yep.
And then like you put them together, and you like years later you can find new connections.
So I'm hoping that you will find new things, and this work was done here now.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it for long, but maybe you can tell me what you find.
Yeah, exactly.
As time goes along.
Okay, well, our last thing that we like to always ask in the podcast is if you have anything to add to the bibliography. We've already mentioned a couple of things, but I know that you had something specifics that you wanted to add.
I would like to add this then, Leon Kelly.
Podcast episode.
But also her book.
Oh, nice.
It's called Memory Craft is one, where she goes through a lot of these things, like how you can remember stuff. Yeah, and I don't remember the other one.
Okay,
put it up in the...
We'll put it up and
it's
you
about,
can find it.
It's the relation between these archaeological sites and places, and how they are all memory palaces, and how Western archaeologists and colonial thinkers are out in the woods instead of nailing it like she's doing. I'm a bit afraid that it might turn out not to be true, but I think it seems true what she says. So
it's funny in a way though that the way that she's talking about sharing this information is in a book. I kind of think, wouldn't it be fun to share the information about memory palaces through something physical?
She does have a following of like teachers and stuff in the Anglo world. I saw her. She has a kind of a fan club where we can plug it to, I guess. I don't know what's it called.
And they meet up
and they meet up and they teach their children to use memory palaces.
Wow. Amazing.
Just a picture of a kid thumbing a thing, a little knob on a wooden board or something. Yeah, I want to plug that.
Nice. Amazing. Well, thank you both to Karl and Mio for coming and joining our podcast. And thank you for listening, audience. This was Thingness.